237 players. That's like 474 eyeballs, at least roughly. It's also the number of players we found at the largest Lorcana event in the world so far this past weekend, hosted by PPG at the OP Tour TCGCon event in Miami from October 21st to 22nd. And oh boy, did we have quite the metagame breakdown. With that many people, unsurprisingly the best decks in the room did turn up in force, but there was another deck still hanging out right up until the top 8 in the form of Emerald Steel, a deck that's arguably fallen out of favour in recent memory. And also, this list is anything but conventional. In fact, I think Roger Parra, who built this deck, is very clever. I think they might be onto something that many players simply might have missed. At this point, we all know that Emerald Steel has a pretty linear game plan at its base. We're looking to play high questing characters and be good into other aggro decks because we're able to clear away the problems or things that might be able to challenge our high questing characters. What Roger figured out here, however, is that you can choose to play a game that allows you to keep those characters safe from your opponent and run away with a game sometimes instead. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is we've got copies of Hercules True Hero and Mickey Mouse Musketeer in this deck, cards that are typically never seen outside of the Musketeer's deck and are actually exceptionally well designed for a deck like this. When you've got copies of Flynn Rider and Aladdin Cornered Swordsman in your deck as important 2-cost cards, it makes sense to have a bodyguard on 3 to protect those cards from your opponent, much like we would with Simba for protecting Lilo in those amber shells. The same can be said about Mickey Mouse Musketeer, a 6-cost bodyguard with a absolutely huge butt, and 6 of course follows 5, the other most important number in this deck, the turn we intend on jamming our copies of Mad Hatter and Kuzco Temperamental Emperor. As a result, I decided to take this deck for a spin on the Pixelborn ladder to see how it plays and whether it really does have what it takes to hang out with the best of the best in the game, and I was pleasantly surprised by what I found. If you do enjoy these games, do me a favour, make sure you subscribe to the channel here at Beyond the Inkwell for more Lorcana content as regularly as we can. Until then, enjoy these games and I'll see you again very, very soon. Have a good one. This is a very, very potentially powerful hand. You know what? I'm actually going to keep all of this, because we have chunks of flexibility about how we want to play this hand. I'm actually going to ink the Smash to start, though. Because I don't know yet if we want to be if we want to be Flynn into Herc, or if we want to be Flynn into Tink into Tink. Depends what our opponent is up to, of course. Okay, Captain Hook on the other side, you got it. Link a Hatter here and go Flynn. I feel like this is probably going to be a Tink game again if our opponent is on Hook. Just a pass. Okay. I am going to lead on the Tink for now. And I'm not questing. I'm not soft to grab your swords yet. But I'll ink a cat of their own. Play a Tink of their own, sure. More swords. I'm a little concerned about swords being grabbed here, but I think this is still correct. Needs our opponent to be the one to give us a window first, so that we can pop damage all over their stuff. Sadly, we can't, like, shift, sing, and play yet. Which is where we're going to aim to get to, I suppose. Hans, yep. Another Hans of your own, huh? This is a bit of an interesting stalemate, isn't it? So, like, shift, tink, grab your swords kills everything that isn't a tink. But it means that my tink is then getting killed by their tink. Which I want to avoid, if at all possible. This is rough. I'm actually not sure how I'm supposed to play this. I feel like maybe I'm the one being too passive here. Because, like, Inca Hand's pass there is so suspect. It's ridiculously suspect. Was a little worried about that. Okay. Patience. Patience, Johnny, patience, and you shall be rewarded. This has been super passive, this game. I feel like this can't have been correct, but we're going to try and correct course. That's how we learn. Flynn eats the ping. Go on, play like a Cusco or something. You won't. Didn't want to see that one. That one's a little too big to... Oh, I guess it isn't. No, wait, it is. Because I can't sing the second one and get a ping. Oh, this is brutal. Okay. I don't care about this. We're all good. Bum, bum, bum. We'll ping off the think, of course. Hatter. It's getting kind of painful. We'll do it the slow way. The very slow way. Sometimes you do what you gotta do. Oh, the painfully slow way. I want to be able to play something else alongside the last one of these when we draw it. But this ain't no Battlecruiser gameplay over here. This is necessary evils the entire way. Yeah, alright, well. Who draws better first? 15-7 is going to be a hard margin to cover. That's a feckin' good one. So is that. Maybe we are playing Battlecruiser Lorcana after all. Oh, stop! Oh my god, this is brutal. Alright, we can actually clear here though, which is even more brutal. Ping. Smash. Quest. Off you go. We still lose to a lot of things. Swords grabbed. Into Flynn. Ah. Alright. I don't think we necessarily win this. Oh my god! Hold. Hold. No way. All right. Trade. Quest. Target the Tink. Quest. Hatter. Go. No way. Did John Silver just rip this game from my opponent's cold, dead body? There's no justice. Like, just actual zero justice. Oh, fuck. Pardon my language, Jesus. Genie. I mean, we're good. Oh my god. I feel gross. That was unpleasant for my opponent. Okay, going second here makes his hand pretty dicey. I'll keep the 2 and the 3. That is a lot of Cheshire Cats. 3 of them, in fact. 4 of them, in fact. I have quads. I win, right? That's how this works. I actually have a slightly longer full house. I still have a full house after inking. It's quite impressive. So assuming this is Ruby Amethyst, yeah. Okay. So we're probably not interested in shifting Tink very often here, but I want to give myself the option still. Because punching Gaston seems kind of hard to do without just making it eating Aladdin a lot of the time. Okay, let's give myself the flexibility. This is basically always happening, whether they trade Maleficent or Gaston, which they should probably trade Maleficent. There's nothing I can do to stop this exchange happening at some point or another. Just going to get my 2 lore out of this before my board is cleared. Force the issue, make sure there's no friends on the other side this turn. You know, any of the above goodies. Pongo for my opponent, sure thing. We'll get shift on. Play around the Maui if we can. But we're not doing an awful lot here right now. Feels like our opponent's early pressure definitely stymied our options. Most of the Gaston was pretty backbreaking. Opponent does in fact have a mirror. Would love to have drawn a Tink there. Most helpful, I should say. That would have been very nice. I actually think I want to force this Gaston to hit this Hercules, which I can do. Alternatively, I can just establish a Cusco. Yeah, okay, let's... Ink John... Actually... Let's ink the Cheshire Cat. Maybe this should have been Herc, actually, I'm not sure. Establish the Cusco, wait a turn, and then we can ping away this Gaston. And then we probably can't afford to extend any further thanks to Be Prepared existing. But we gotta start doing something. At least this way my opponent's clearing up their own board if they Be Prepared. Which I'm fairly happy about. Cool. Jasper is not for this matchup, so we'll ink that, run out another Tink. Poppity pop. And then Questity Quest. And if my opponent wants to trade both of these for Tink, I'm okay with it. This Cusco is quite hard for them to clear. Maybe there's a good chance they just ink and blow the Be Prepared here and eat their own evasives, which I think I'm okay with. Rafiki, sure. Yeah, I guess if you're spending your whole turn clearing a Cusco, that's okay. We're not clearing the Tinkerbell? Interesting. We're actually not in a terrible position here. I'm not entirely sure we can afford to play around this Be Prepared, though. So, we're going to go John Silver. Get Reckless on the Goofy. Get our foot down. Will Quest, and of course, peeled Be Prepared. Cool. Sometimes that's what happens. Okay, Flint. Herc or Tink? Tink, definitely Tink. Sometimes they just find it, and that's the way it goes. Unfortunate. I think we were in a really good spot there. This game got a lot harder. I think that's the third Maleficent going in the Inkwell. Jeez. Genie is interesting here. I'm going to hold the Genie. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use the Herc to keep the Flynn alive through a Maui. Or at least force my opponent to spend their entire turn clearing both with Maui. Which can be done thanks to Shield of Virtue, but this is better into Rafiki too. Much better into Rafiki. Oh, unfortunate. Well, opponent will lose the last card in their hand if they can't ink it and they want to kill Flynn. Oh, they can ink it, of course. Oh, just can't catch a break here, can we? Alright. Up to 15 we go. We're still very in this, but we're the one who needs help, I think, because the top deck war favors my opponent when they're magic mirroring every turn. I don't even want to Genie that. I really don't. I probably will and should, but... because I need to play around Big Aladdin, Heroic Outlaw if I can, but I don't really want to. But I will ink the Archimedes, sure. Cusco. Okay. Well, if my opponent draws Heroic Outlaw, F me, I guess. If they draw Be Prepared, F me, I guess. But I'm pretty sure this is where we're supposed to be, and try to avoid either of just those two draw steps. Oh, man. Sometimes you just can't catch a break. Alright. Well, we can go to 16 and bounce the Aladdin, which is not bad. No whammy. No, Be Prepared. Come on. Dragon's Fire, I'll accept. It keeps you alive, but I'll accept. Just no whammy. Oh! That's a really impressive showing, to be honest. For a deck that... well, for a game where basically everything broke the way you needed it not to. Opponent found the cards they needed to off the top when they needed to. That's a pretty good one. We take those.